China World, happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Cognac Confessionals. I'm your host, Deshaun, at Where Media Meets Studios in conjunction with VJ TV, Farrell Films, History in the Making Entertainment, Keep It Cloudy Productions, It's Friday, September 23rd, it's the first day of fall.
So they say.
Yeah, they say, summer's over with, so, it's time for y'all to find something to do. You got your fall colors on.
According to the Pilgrims.
Yeah. But, yeah, exactly. It's been an interesting week. It's been a lot of shit going on.
Goofy shit, though.
Goofy. Definitely goofy shit. Definitely some goofy shit going on. We got, as usual, a lot we can get into tonight. So, what's happening? We got a few things. I know you made a post about the Woman King movie thing, and I was like, okay, I feel it.
One thing I was disappointed in that is that a lot of people are saying, oh, well, the movie was successful, so you niggas was just hating.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't understand is that Babyface and a couple other celebrities bought out $2 million worth of screenings in order to, and they'll use it as a tax write-off and stuff like that, but in order to make the movie appear successful. And I have to be concerned is why in our black culture here in America, when I refer to black culture, I'm talking about us, black Americans.
Right.
One of the elephants in the room is that celebrities and entertainers have traditionally been put up front as spokespeople and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, in the case of some of these movements that's going on, these celebrities and stuff like that are going against the grassroots of the people. Like, for instance, if there was something going on in the Latino world or whatever like that, nobody really cared and some celebrity threw their weight behind it, people would be, oh, well. But if there was people online actually from the community saying, hey, this ain't cool, we don't want this, there ain't a Latino celebrity that would dare put money against the people.
Right.
And so that means too often, and the same thing with I hate when people go into don't vote for the Democrats as if the Republicans is better.
Right.
But there is coming a time when, as black Americans, anything that wants our support, politicians, entertainers, or anything, have to show that they clearly support us and how we feel. Because right now you got this lady down in L.A., not to really switch too much, but Karen Bass. She's in first place to be mayor. She's leading in all the polls. She's going to be the first black woman mayor of Los Angeles, most likely, right?
Okay.
She had a speech a couple weeks ago. People asked her, what other things that you're going to do specifically for black people and, in the black homeless crisis in L.A.
Right.
And she basically gave them hey, I'm going to be the mayor of everybody, not just black people. Oh, yeah. But then yesterday she was asked, what are you going to do to address Latino problems and homeless? And she started it's
because as you know, the Latino population is very large in LA. Very large.
But that's the funny thing is that a black politician can't even be bothered to give us lip service. They laugh or be like, hey man, it's all lives matter. But when someone else says, hey man, before I vote for you, what are you going to do for us? And
they got a whole platform. I got a 12-step program that I'm finna do for your people, and this is what it is.
And even though we are, say, not enough of a population to make too much of a difference, say, in California,
we are the population.
Let's not forget, if black people didn't go stand in line for 10 hours on Election Day in South Carolina, in Georgia, and Pennsylvania, Joe Biden wouldn't be president right now.
Sleepy Joe would not be in office.
So it's like this. We got to start getting to the point where we spread the word, each one teach one.
Right. Mouth to ear.
That, hey, if people ain't talking about what we as the grassroots talking about,
yes,
no vote, no support.
Just like, and we're going to tap in on the Woman King because I like where this is going. Something I just seen is San Francisco mayor, London Breed, the city has just adopted her controversial plan of where the police will now be able to access private home security people's in real time.
That's wild.
That's some bullshit.
That's wild.
What's up, Keisha? Right now we talking about politics for a sec. We finna jump into the whole woman king controversy. I got a few topics for us tonight. Tonight is gonna be we going in, and this is gems. Tonight's show is all gems. I might drop a joke in every now and then, but tonight is really wake your ass up conversation tonight.
And I'm glad that you brought up London Breed, because what a lot of people, especially in the SCO, ain't realizing is that they brought the white boy in, Chase Boudin, as the DA, and he started saying, "Man, send the dope fiends instead of jail, send them to rehab. Let's do this. Hey man, for dude stealing just because he on dope, man, hey man, be cool. Let's figure out the problem to address the problem of dope." They said he was soft on crime. They snatched him up out of the office. Now, our girl London then appoints a sister, and we like, yay, it's another sister. But she appointed a sister that people are saying, oh, Kamala Harris smashed on black people. This sister that they just appointed, that Breed just over there, man, they had plea deals on the table for people. She came in, snatched them all out. She gonna go, because they see how far Kamala went. London Breed and this new chick, they not fools. Kamala Harris is in the White House, and they see it. Oh, if I'm a black woman, I can get the black vote automatically. But if I stomp on niggas' necks, the white people will be like, oh,
we fuck with you too.
And so London Breed and this new chick is going to take turns stomping on black people's heads in San Francisco in order to raise their national profile. And that needs to be alarming.
Very much so. Very much so.
I've been trying to get Keisha to get into politics. Keisha, really, to tell the truth, should be running for District 6 right now. I mean, I know she got her reasons for not running, but a person like her
hit me off
needs
line.
to get in the position.
I'm a part of the LMP committee, and I'm a part of Alameda Labor Council.
Hey, and speaking of that, our former guest, Alyssa Victory, had a huge victory against the city.
Yeah,
they tried to
screw
her over.
That's my attorney. She's running for mayor of Oakland. Yeah. So, and she's having a kickoff event October 1st at one of my work locations.
And they tried to screw her.
Yeah, they did. They tried to. So.
And then I seen, the Tribune today posted an article on why Shang Tao, the Asian lady that's running, shouldn't be mayor. They're saying she's not ready. So, but I know that's a hatchet piece in order to help Lauren Taylor, who's connected to Libby Schaff. But Alyssa has a chance if the grassroots get behind her.
Hey, for real though, I'm
Keisha
not.
says it has to be a balance with holistic and enforcement.
You're true. I can agree with that. Because I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm a free thinking spirit. So
yeah, Shane Tao, the Tribune went bad on her today. Well, the East Bay News, they went bad on her. They had a whole column on why she shouldn't be mayor.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, it's and election time's coming up. And like I said, the premise of this show was really to go in on. We got some very controversial topics, and I'm gonna just tell y'all now. I don't give a shit about who the Boston coach was fucking on the side. That shit is not newsworthy.
You know what I like is a lot of people on Twitter were saying, "Oh yeah, while we on the Boston coach, let's not forget Brett Favre stole
that." We got that tonight. We going in on that tonight. You already know. I'm coming guns blazing tonight, y'all. I got some shit that I'm just like, yeah, we really finna go in, because most people, and I ain't gonna call y'all niggas, but most people, I was looking at my timeline, everybody, how could you follow me along, and this and that and that. I'm like, but it's only a few motherfuckers posting like myself, like you, like Kev Ev, like a few people posting about Brett Favre shit.
Kev Ev.
You know what I'm saying? This motherfucking Brett Favre then dangled millions out of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Mississippi, as we know,
this wasn't his first lick that he hit on.
Oh no, he licked.
This was just the most. But I mean, he had got funding on other things, and he got $1 million something in the PPP.
1.1, and allegedly he paid the 1.1 back. Yeah. So since we on that, let's jump into that. So, for y'all that don't know, Brett Favre, did he get in the Hall? Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Brett Favre, from Mississippi, country pilgrim,
good old boy,
got 5 million or 5 point something million?
Yeah.
In what should have been earmarked to social services funds in the state of Mississippi, which that state already has very strict laws where it comes to people being able to apply and receive benefits. He got money for, because I got notes tonight. You know, niggas prepared in a motherfucker when they got notes. He got up to 5 million. He secured, here it is, he secured 3.2 million in funding for a drug company that he is an investor in. Yeah, that sounds like insider trading.
That's a conflict of interest. Insider trading, you're correct.
Right, you know, right there. The school that his daughter was going to, that his alma mater, got 1.1 million that they built a volleyball facility that his daughter's on the volleyball team. Yeah. These funds.
How much you want to bet that some of that construction on that volleyball?
It was Uncle Buck
went back into his pockets and probably a construction company that he might have an interest in.
Right. So you got they paid for a volleyball facility that his daughter plays volleyball for the team.
A Mississippi school don't need no millions of dollars of volleyball
facility. I mean,
volleyball ain't even that fucking popular.
Come on.
To justify a facility.
I like volleyball. And beach
I like beach volleyball.
Yeah, I like beach
but
volleyball.
Hell, they just need some sand.
Exactly.
They don't need millions of dollars.
Now, his daughter was on the team. Now, she transferred to LSU in August. So that means, heat and pressure is on. So not only that, but you got also there's confirmed text messages between him and John Davis or the other lady who
this
was
ain't
involved.
Gonna come out, is it?
Right. Asking, and quote, is there any way the media will find out where the money came from and how much? That's guilty. But the thing...
why ESPN ain't covering this story like they are this Boston coach?
You right into what I'm going in on. Exactly. Once again, the mass media is not parading this information to y'all. They rather tell y'all about what coach is hanging and who we giving a tickle pickle to on the side and violating a team policy. Man, everybody know you don't shit where you sleep, but how many dudes or females ain't fuck nobody on the job? I'm really don't want to go into all that.
Keep it 100.
Keep it a buck. It happens. It is what it is.
Even if y'all don't fuck, y'all having emotional affairs with your coworkers.
Everybody got a work husband, a work boo. You ain't got to be fucking, but I'm just saying, he did. So what?
Let me give you some personal insight on this. My brother is right now in prison, and he just did 7 years in Mississippi. Now, during that time, with him being gone, his wife fell on hard times. She went down to get some of this welfare to try to survive. The state of Mississippi would not give her welfare unless she divorced my brother. And they said, strict. And he said, and she said to them, well, hey, he's in prison. We don't have his income. We're trying to survive. And the state of Mississippi told her that the funds were so limited that they couldn't possibly give the welfare to a woman with an able-bodied husband, even though he's in prison.
He's a fucking technical, according to the 13th Amendment, he's a slave right now.
So she had to divorce him on paper in order to get these funds because the funds were so tight.
The same state that just gave this pilgrim.
Because they said that the state was so poor and we just can't give welfare
to anybody
because we don't got enough bread.
But they gave
so she had to divorce him, break up this black family. Because now he behind bars, he understand that she had to divorce him because of, the rule. But still, you sitting in prison and you get the divorce papers.
Yeah.
That's depressing to you. But then I look up and I see Brett Favre got millions of dollars for a stadium.
Yes.
When that could have went to my sister-in-law, and it's like, okay, y'all playing. The poorest people in Mississippi got to get on their knees and beg for funds. And Brett Favre got millions of dollars, this and that. If that was you or that was me, man, we'd already be arrested and indicted.
You also have the water situation going on down there as well. So once again, we as the melanated people,
the water,
you know, you got the water situation, which got some attention. But the thing about the some and little bit of attention that has got, how long has that been going on for it to finally get some attention? But then once again, you got Brett Favre with this situation, and John Davis already pleaded guilty to conspiracy.
If that was near you, we'd be serving 10 years.
We'd be plastered all over the media.
We'd serve.
They would parade us through the town with on stilts.
3 years ago in 2019, I don't know if you remember, I went to Jackson for a family reunion, right? And I was there for about 4 days. Let me tell you something about Jackson. As a person growing up, you know, coming here in the Bay and the diversity and stuff.
Yes.
When you enter the city limits of Jackson, a lot of y'all might not, unless you went to a HBCU or you spent time in the South, you don't understand. I literally, when I stepped foot into Jackson, the 4 days I was in Jackson, I never saw another person who wasn't black. The fire department driving down the street was black. You go into Walgreens, you go into McDonald's, you go into the neighborhoods. Wherever you go into the hotel and the person behind the counter. Jackson on paper is 83% black. But in reality, I was there for 4 days. I was all over the town, the mall, everything. I never saw anyone who wasn't black. And that's why the state of Mississippi is fucking Jackson over. Because the state of Mississippi received $1 billion that was supposed to go into changing the infrastructure, the pipes and stuff like that. And let me tell you something. Now the dime of that hit Jackson. The reason why none of that hit Jackson, because the Republican white controlled state legislature withheld the funds.
Right.
So people in Jackson don't even have clean, like they can't get a glass of water.
Right.
Because
their water look like Hennessy with chocolate syrup in it right now.
But Brett Favre got millions of dollars for a fucking volleyball stadium.
Swindle. But not
why
only
this
that,
man ain't in jail, I don't know.
Not only that, he got 1.1 million in speaking engagements, and he never attended. You know what I'm saying? $1.1 million for speaking arrangements, and you didn't even show up to these quote unquote speaking arrangements. This is just dope.
Hey,
what's up, Peaches? Flodge in the building. What's happening? I mean, this is just crazy. Now I'm gonna take it back half a sec because Keisha asked the question. She said, what's a definition of a work bull or a work husband?
I want Peaches to answer that too.
For me, to be honest, it's non-sexual at all. But you always have that work. I'm not always. I mean, let me step back. A work bull, just somebody cool with that. I mean, this is in the past. I'm not speaking presently. I have no work anything now, so I'm gonna be very clear on that. But I mean, just saying, dudes, when I was single, and you had people who it was cool with, and you was hella cool. You be like, oh, what's up, boo? What's happening? Just interaction, conversation run the nation. And I, like I said, motherfuckers have work situations. Hey, back in the day, I had those.
Bring you lunch every day.
It ain't had to be every day.
Listen to your problems, stuff like that.
Every day.
It ain't even sexual. Yeah. But this person definitely becomes an important part of your life.
Yeah, I mean, shit happens.
Y'all have a connection.
Somebody you cool with. You ain't got, like I said, it ain't got to be extra sexual or nothing. You know, That's some different shit.
To a basic nigga though, it gotta be sexual, but to a nigga that's trying to
think,
strive.
Because niggas think with their root chakra. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you really want to control that, you need to control here.
But once you get to
You'll
a certain
get that at
level
3 in the morning.
Once you get to a certain level of emotional elevation, anybody who you see truly supports you becomes important to you, and that don't have to be physical.
Yeah,
it's just
your
like,
work wife or even the counterpart, the person that in work balances you out with shit, because you could be on a rampage doing shit. They be like, dude, you. It could be a confidant. I'm not, like I said, once again, this ain't got to be sexual. It's not.
Peaches, people do catch feelings though. Peaches.
Fuck that. Best advice I heard from somebody was put your feelings in your back pocket and sit on them.
Damn. How you feel about work booze, Rel? Because your actual boo will always have a problem with the work boo, but it's not necessarily a sexual thing. There's always somebody. Sometimes your work boo could be the older black woman who not only will look out for you, but if somebody they trying to dog you on the job or something like that, that's the person that go in there and be like, hey, y'all need to leave him alone. That's a work boo.
They call it your work wife. Just go ahead.
I mean, shit, if you single and you know what I mean, like,
I ain't single.
I'm just saying, you know, shit, I feel like you put yourself in that situation. I tried, like, when I was real young, like, probably like a late teen. I never really liked to mess with nobody at the job, because if you don't really,
it go all bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, if you want to take that step back, sometimes that shit can just be kind of harsh, you know, because now you trapped inside a cage, literally, and you gotta deal with this person every day. You know what I'm saying? So it has its perks. I mean, you know, it has its perks, but I tend to stay away from them work booze. Like,
yeah, I'm cool.
Well, as a mature person, I know don't shit where you eat.
Exactly.
Right? But
yeah, when I was younger, I didn't know that.
You know,
I was
23.
Like,
you know, you
yeah,
don't
I was
know
22. 20,
yeah.
I just like yesterday was my 25 years at my job. 25 years yesterday. So, you know, we're talking. I started my job when I was 22. I was a young cat. I was much thinner. You know what I'm saying? No grays. I had the cool, you know, goatee, whatnot. I was chilling. I was making decent money at that time, and I had no kids, and I wasn't a part of the alphabet community, which I still ain't. And you know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell me shit. Tell me I wasn't the man, or at least his nephew. But that's another story.
But hey, Peaches, as you say, you're not supposed to go home talking about your work boo, but if you're trying to be straightforward and let the person in your life know, you know, what you got going on, this and that, and especially if you ain't crossed them physical lines, as a male, you would normally be like, hey, well, what's the problem? I ain't fucking the bitch, you know what I'm saying? The bitch just support a nigga movement. But when you get mature, you start realizing that your woman will be like, have a problem with anybody that she thinks, even if it ain't physical, if you have an emotional connection. Whereas as a male, you be like,
that's my partner.
If I ain't fucked, it's cool. What are you tripping on?
Yeah, see, I think we was talking about two different things though, because I
ain't talking about, like I said, I wasn't talking about physical. I ain't talking about somebody you fucking.
Yeah, that type of situation, like, yeah, that seems to like always go down. Like, it's always gonna be, you know, that girl at the job or whatever that likes you, but it's, you know, it's just you gotta.
We had some shit. It be what it be.
I'm a charming fellow who talks about interesting things and does exciting things. So women is drawn to. What's this song by this? What's this rapper? Division. If I get caught cheating, and he's saying, he got a line where he say, "You knew I was fly when you got here." You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. A woman has to understand that I am not Joe Schleprock from off 83rd and Holly. You know what I'm saying? When I go places, women like me. Women like the things I be talking about. Women be liking the events I be talking about. So
I do not.
You know.
But I'm saying, so now when the shoe is on the other foot, though, But what about when the wifey be talking about, man, it's the
That's
dude
the-
at the job.
Well, you know what?
that's
I ain't
the
gonna
thing.
lie. It's a
always
double
a
standard in
flip
this
side, you know what I
life.
mean?
If I do what I do, then you need to be
Hey.
accepting of it. If you do what you do, be prepared
Hey.
to take me to the
Work.
hospital and give me CPR.
It's always, and I do want to get back into the main topic, but I'll say this. It's always, dudes
better not keep
are
some.
predators. Yeah, I ain't got one. But dudes are predators. The motherfuckers was sitting back watching. They know when you argue with your chick and she at work kind of frustrated. Oh, man, what's happening? Oh, you trying to
Dexter
get Dexter
St.
St.
Jock?
Jock?
Dexter
Yeah, them
St. Jock
motherfuckers,
ass
come
nigga.
here, girl. Let me talk to you.
You
Yeah.
should not be crying.
Why are you mad today, girl? Come here. If I was with you, I'd make love to you constantly. Girl, let's go on a lunch break.
I'll shoot this Dexter.
Take a vacation day tomorrow, but tell that nigga you at work. I'll take care of you. That's life. Shit happens. It's always darts and obstacles. But I don't want to belabor that bullshit because I really don't want to talk about that Celtics shit. I really don't because, like I said, it's a distraction to...
You know, there's so much misinformation going on out there that I don't know what's really the actual issue.
don't give
In
a
fact, there
fuck.
was a sister
I don't give
who
a
got
fuck.
slandered all over Twitter as the home wrecker, and then it come to find out that she wasn't even involved in this.
But that's the premises of tonight's conversations. All the topics we got go into this whole thing of distraction, the bait and switch, and shit that is to draw your attention instead of focusing on the real shit. From all our topics, the Brett Favre shit, we're gonna go into the Woman King, the money situation, the Suns owner with his shit. You know, he might have to sell the team because he was on some misogynistic shit, on some racist shit. A bunch of white people are losing. They queen then died. Fuck that bitch.
Lizzie's in the box.
You know what I'm saying?
I was watching the Irish Twitter, and they was at a stadium, and they got announced that she died, and the Irish people all started chanting, "Lizzie's in the box," because I guess apparently they want their own country, and
I cannot
they came in and
support
dogged them and took
the
their
funeral.
country and make them pay taxes and stuff. So they was actually cheering like, "Man, the bitch is dead, and we finna get at her son. Like, hey, let us go, let us be free."
Right.
Damn.
So to tap it back into this Brett Favre shit, we talking $5 million. This is fraud. You got John
Me and
Davis.
you or you would be in prison if
I'd
we
be
embezzled
paraded.
$5 million from the
I'd be
state.
in prison if I stole a pack of Twizzlers and
Yeah.
a fucking Sunkiss.
We'd be in prison. And Brett Favre is walking around, and they even got text messages showing him saying his only concern, he didn't have no concern with stealing the money from the people. His only concern was, will this get into the media?
Thank you.
Yep.
These is confirmed text messages. I'm just wondering why ESPN, CNN,
Look up Irish
Fox
Twitter,
News,
Peaches.
all these media outlets that when it came to Michael Vick and his situation with the dogs,
Man, did they ride that shit or not?
Uh,
and that's not even condone Michael Vick's actions, but
Right.
Jesus Christ,
And
this man went
I
to
love
fucking
animals.
prison. He did his
for
time.
dogs, and it's not saying that he was actually there doing it. It's just because people he was in his circle.
Yeah.
So he went down for some other people's actions, but because his name was tied to it. So here we have another situation of where not, and I'm not comparing animals to humans in this analogy, but I kind of am, but I'm not. But here we have Mississippi residents who have been denied valuable resources that was allocated to them, but you don't hear about it on the national stage. This is some bullshit. I'm keeping it a buck. This is bullshit. These are the things why you have people that get frustrated and do the shit they do, and then they be like, "See, y'all over there wilding." People are tired of this bullshit. Hold these motherfuckers accountable. Same with the niggas and people. All people that do dumb shit, hold their ass accountable for their actions. I get that. I understand that. But to get into the surface level when it comes to us and the shit that we do, you got to look at the reasons why we're in the condition we're in. Which, once again, is bringing me back to this fucking Brett Favre shit. If you wouldn't have fucking... You would have gave that $5 million to the people who truly deserved it. That could have been lights, food, Pampers.
My sister-in-law had to get a divorce to get some welfare money, a few $100 from the state.
That's resources that was supposed to be allocated to the, and I'm not saying they're low tier people. I'm not, to the most needy. I'll say, because as we know, Mississippi is quote unquote the poorest state in the richest country in the nation.
By far.
That's saying a lot.
I had an adventure in the
But y'all got hella money for motherfucking over there, Russia and
man, without hesitation.
And that other shit going on. Y'all got money up. Oh, y'all throwing them motherfuckers
how many
money.
billions they done sent
y'all throwing shit over there like motherfucking niggas in the club throwing dollars at strippers. But when it comes to taking care of your people here, the melanated people, the original people, you'll get that at 3.
Hey, what's up, Candace? And what's up, Chico? Now, let me tell you something. In the early 90s, y'all remember Pam the Funkstress? DJ. Me and Pam...
Rest in peace to Pam.
Me and Pam was riding across Mississippi. Me, Pam, Boots Riley, a few other cats. And we was riding, and we decided, somebody told us that there was gambling in the riverboat. It's 1993. So, a motherfucker gave us directions. We lost. We in Tupelo, Mississippi, where Elvis is from. We pull up in the 7-Eleven. We lost. It's about 30 hillbillies standing in front of the toothless hillbillies.
Waiting for y'all to.
So we get out. One dude off top. Y'all lost because there are no black people in this area. Mississippi is all fucked up. And so I'm like, but me being on some ESO shit. Fuck you, cracker. Nah, we ain't lost. We looking for the riverboats. Dude say, you a long way from the riverboats, boy. I let that part go. Because it was 4 of us and a girl. And it's about 30 of them. I let that part go. Because normally my response would have been, I got your boy hanging. But we is outnumbered on enemy turf. And I'm like, man, we looking for the riverboats, man. You like, fuck all that dumb shit. And dude said, well, how you end up here? They at us. And I'm like, man, got directions. Dude said, oh, anybody gave you directions to go this way, they was trying to get you fucked up. Where y'all from? I'm like, man, we from California. He's like, oh, you get a pass. He's like, take this road down yonder and whoop-de-whoop, and you gonna get to the riverboats. And I was like, damn, he peeped game. The person who gave us directions intentionally gave us directions to a hillbilly hood that was literally ready.
You'd have been to get on wrong turn.
To get on our helmets. And I say all that to say this was in the early 90s. And
ain't shit changed.
Mississippi is literally, see, if you only lived in California and you ain't never, even if you went to the South, you probably went to Georgia, this and that. But let me tell you something. Mississippi is easily the most backward state in America, with hillbillies who would have no problem. If I would have got hyphy when he called me boy, they wouldn't have had no problem with killing us and burying our body. And the sheriff would have came and did an investigation and said, there's nothing to see here, right? So I had to keep myself. COVID. So even though I got this toothless hillbilly calling me boy, I had to bite that because I was in a position where if I would have got hyphy, I would have got the whole crew killed. But I just say all that to say that if a person has ever been to Mississippi and you see how fucked up it is for even white people, black people, like it's a fucked up state, and then you understand that Jackson, the drinking water comes out like the tubes look like this.
That shit look like Yoo-Hoo with motherfucking Hershey sprinkles in it.
So when you know, if you've ever touched the soil in Mississippi, then you know how. It's hard for some people if you've lived in the Bay Area your whole life to understand how fucked up that state is. When you understand it is, and you didn't realize that Brett Favre stole millions of dollars that was supposed to go to welfare, you'll be like, why y'all ain't lynched this motherfucker? It's some. See, we get fooled sometimes because we live here in California and we think shit's diverse, this and that. No, when you go to Mississippi and Louisiana and places like that, it's fucked up for black people. It really is.
Hey, Kenneth, to your point, I've been independent for years. I'm not a Democrat. I ain't a Republican.
But Kenneth, it ain't the white progressives though that's fucking over black people in Mississippi and Louisiana.
You got both.
They all in on it. You saying they all in on it?
Of course they are. Both is left wing, right wing.
But it's the same bird. I've heard that saying.
You know, but the thing about it, Whiteout was happening, bro. The thing about it, and I'm gonna try to not call y'all niggas, but us always fall for the banana in the tailpipe. We always quick to run and support some shit, which is a segue into our original topic, which I definitely want to get into that. It's a segue, but we're gonna get into it. We always fall for the banana in the tailpipe, and just because it's some mystical you think it's silver lining in the clouds, or they're for us shit, we quick to run support it. And when I say that, just like this movie, The Woman King, which I really want to get into. We really finna get into this.
And Kenneth, this will be my first time since I registered to vote in the 80s that I won't be supporting the Democrats. I don't know if I'm voting Republican. I don't think I'll ever do that, but I'm not necessarily voting Democrat.
I'll be glad when people wake up and stop sucking political dick. I said what I said.
But like Keisha said, we need to come together. But
True.
I don't know how we would do that. What's the plan for that?
So, now, to this movie, The Woman King. Because I want to get... Because I had already wanted to talk about it, and then when you made your post, I was like, we on. Because I was finna call you like, P, I'm thinking of talking about this movie, but I wanted to do some research, because I'm trying to be more journalistic, if that's a word, when it comes to this shit. And I'm free thought thinker, you know, and I really want to tap in and look at this. So for y'all that don't know, this Woman King movie starring Viola Davis, you know, she's a talented actress. I'm not here to slander her. None of that.
I don't know if your mic working.
Cause Flodge is quiet.
Yo,
That's cheap. That's Chico.
see him?
But
Being funny.
Shout out.
now,
Jake.
yeah,
I see
Chico
you, boy.
being Chico. For y'all that don't know, the homie, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the way it's
I think
spelled,
that's correct. Yeah.
the homie, this tribe, for y'all that don't know, because you know we're gonna educate y'all tonight. We're gonna give y'all some shit. The Woman King movie, in essence, which this movie was a story written by two non-melanated women,
Exactly.
for one, who have no association or anything with this story. And a lot of movies, the writer, hold on. The pen is mightier than the sword, and this is why. We've heard that since we was a kid. And this is exactly why. Now, my thought process in this, and I'm open to the conversation, and I hope y'all chime in and have opinions. If any of y'all have seen the movie, I'm open to the conversation because I'm not closed-minded. You know, there's no absolutes. Only a Sith believes in absolutes. And I'm a Jedi. But, so, the homie people, their tribe, the women, the homie warriors are all women. They're known as the Agaji, I want to say. Once again, I don't know if I'm saying it right. But they were heavily involved. This is an all-woman warrior set.
Mm-hmm.
All women. So, for y'all, to give y'all some context, the movie Black Panther, their all-female army is based on these women. These African melanated women. That whole, because I remember everybody was, yeah, for that. But that was...
I was too.
Yeah, we are, because we fall for the
Banana.
hey, here we go. Yeah, Black Pride is womanhood, and I support women because I'm a firm believer the melanated woman is God. So my stance on this is not an anti-feminist or none of that.
That's how
not.
they sell it though when you oppose it.
Right, because I read an article from a sister, an educated sister who studies and whatnot. And I'm not a deep journalist on some shit, but I will go do some research. And I read this sister's article, and her points. Well, like I said, I'm open to conversation. I'm open to new ideas. The thought that this movie, because it's celebrating womanhood, which is, hey, it's great, from a basic understanding level. Mm-hmm. It's great. The idea, hey, here we go, a movie celebrating melanated woman. I'm not gonna call y'all black because you're not black.
I want to say that, Keisha.
No, not at all. No, Keisha,
Did we all fall in and vote for Kamala?
Yeah, and she ain't like it. But no. So my stance on this movie, I'm still in the middle. I have reservations based on the writers. I'm angry because I feel that this movie, and we as black people, oh damn, I call this black. My apologies. Us as melanated people, we fall in. Part of me feels we're falling in the banana in the tailpipe.
How so though?
Because we're celebrating a tribe that was heavy involved in the slave trade, the capturing of Africans and the selling of Europeans to be shipped over here.
How are we celebrating it?
Because this movie was box office. This movie was box office draw, and because the thing is, like I said, the pen is mightier than the sword. So if I pen a story, because this story is not true, it's based on maybe some true events, but every story has fictional characters. Yeah. As long as I can make a story about camouflage, and as long as I put 2% of your life in it, I can make up the other 98%. Yeah. But I can say based on
like you're not going to show me coming here every Friday. You're going to skip and be showing.
It's for entertainment.
Well, like the Malcolm X movie, the character that Spike Lee played
didn't exist.
Was a made up character. Sometimes they'll call him a composite character.
NPC, non-playable character, like in the video games.
One of the things about the homie though is that if, and I said this on Twitter and a couple people got upset with me. If you'd have made a movie about some Nazi commandos that also on the side killed Jews, but other than that, they was kind of cool.
They wouldn't make that movie.
You get scalped for trying to make that movie, and that's basically what they selling us with the homie tribe. Like, oh, these warriors and this and that, and come see them, and they almost was like superheroes. But also, they was involved in the slave trade, which is what all three of us and everybody watching are a direct result of. So anybody who enslaved our ancestors, we can't celebrate them.
We're not all direct from that because plenty of us were here before that.
Right.
But I get what you're saying, exactly. Mm-hmm. But to Keisha's point, when I thought about it, when I'm looking at, this situation and whatnot, both sides, because I want to listen and look at both sides, I'm like, well, damn. We're supposed to be behind the black woman.
Yeah.
Damn, I called this black again. My bad, y'all. The melanated woman. And a lot of people are falling back into because just like Keisha's comment, are they saying that women can't lead? No. But that's the narrative.
And vote for Kamala? Ain't London Breed a mayor? You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying that's the typical defense of the other side, the opposition of this, because, y'all thinking too deep. Y'all just don't want to see a movie where women are leading, and they're falling onto the misogynistic aspect of a trait. Because, if it was a movie of men leading, y'all would be behind it. No, I'm tired of all the bullshit. The slave movies, the
Trauma porn is what they
all
call it.
that shit. I'm tired of all of it. I just want to
12
see.
Years a Slave.
I just want to see a regular
Slim
movie.
and Sugar. What's that movie they made?
Oh,
that bullshit.
Queen and Slim.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all these backwards ass movies where we're the butt end of jokes and a lot of people don't get, but we quick to rush out and go support it because somebody that look like me is in it. And I'm not saying that nothing that we shouldn't support us, because we should, but the context behind all that needs to be really explored and understood, because if I'm a non-melanated person and I want to come to wherever you at and take your dollars, all I need to do is put my hand up in somebody that look like you ass and say, hey, talk for me. And most of y'all gonna run to that shit and support it, not knowing that me, the non-melanated person, is the benefactor of all this. Because yeah, the actors get paid, yeah, they do, but the actor, just like a football athlete, just like a basketball, any athlete in any sport, they don't make shit compared to the owners. But yeah, we support all sports. I'm not saying it's wrong to support sports. All I'm saying is let's have a deeper understanding of what this means and what's really being displayed in front of you, and understand the history and the true context of this. Because I can tell you, with the Dahomian soldiers, they had a battle because I went and studied and looked at some shit. And between the last Ogaji soldier who was with battlefield experience died in 1979. Right? I was 4 going on 5.
Mm-hmm.
They were over 100
This ain't
years
ancient
old.
history. They're like, in our lifetime, these people existed.
Right. And they underwent intense training. This all-woman army, which I salute those aspects of it. So I don't want nobody to misconstrue. I haven't seen the movie yet either, and I'm
trying to figure out what you got the issue with though.
The issue
Slave
is
trade is being glorified is my issue.
right.
But see, that's where I disagree, because
That's good. This is open dialogue. I'm open to the
because
conversation.
history is history, right? History is
But the movie
It's
downplays all that.
it's a pain.
what happened, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between that and a movie about civil rights, when they downplay what really happened with that? How motherfuckers
It's
really
different.
couldn't go nowhere with that.
It's different because let's say you had Martin Luther King who was fighting for civil rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had somebody else who was like, nah, man, we cool off civil rights. And then they make the movie about that dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, one of the issues people had, remember they made that movie last year, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had problems with that. They tried to give a perspective and an understanding to the dude, to the Judas.
Yeah.
And it's like this. In the
He
case of
human
the
too.
Homie Warriors, the first time I saw the trailer a few months ago, I was like, man, yes, oh, this looks bomb. I was pumped. And then I went on Twitter and somebody was like, nah, blood, these ain't cool. And then I did my research and I was like, oh, they not cool, but I can only think of the million of black people who was like, oh yeah, this the shit and I need to support this. And it's almost to me like a slap in the face that these white women who wrote the movie and produced the movie was basically like, they marched out some class. Like I said, if you had some Nazi commandos who did some fly shit, no one's going to make a movie about them because people are going to say, hey, yeah, wait a minute. They
y'all
killed
supported
Jews,
the gas
though,
chamber.
you know?
They're not going to make
And
it
we were
to
like,
the
oh, we
movie.
ain't really addressing that. We're addressing
but-
the hero shit they did.
Right.
No, but I've seen a lot of stuff about, let's say,
And
you talk about the
I see
Holocaust.
both sides of
I've
this.
seen a lot of, I wouldn't say movies per se, but a lot of stories, I'll say, through being portrayed through, let's say, video about motherfuckers who might have supported or been down with the Nazis and was like, you know what, this can't happen no more. Like, this is getting way out of hand. Like, we was just thinking one thing, and then like Hitler took it to a whole nother level. So like now, I'm working with the what they call them.
Well, one of the things about the Dahomey,
collaborators.
Well, one thing about the Dahomey though is that England outlawed slavery almost 30 years before America did.
Yes.
So England was like, hey, we cool off slavery, this and that, right? The Dahomey was like, oh, you fucking up the economy.
Yes.
And we still finna be slaves. England had to go in and fight them over
and they eventually
to stop rocking with slavery. So
it was 18.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
A glorification of them is bananas to me. And that's what I think the movie is. It's a glorification of them because people don't know the real story.
And the thing is, and this is just me, and like I said, I'm looking at both sides of this. Seriously. Like, I understand the side Pharaoh's talking about, and I'm looking at also, this is a melanated women
kicking ass.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing.
And that's an easy sell. But anything that's an easy sell is usually some shit behind it. So most people, they're not going to take the time to go research this shit. They just going, oh, this is what it is, let's go support it. Which I get that. Because society is in a click, go do mode anyway. Most people don't take the time to go really look at what's this going on, what's behind this, and why this story. Same thing like the movie Django. Remember, I like that shit. I'm tired of seeing that type of shit. I'm not saying that we don't need to know these things, because we definitely do. Because if you don't know where you came from, you'll never know where you're going. But when you allow somebody who has no
emotional investment,
no molecular connection to you and your existence, and you're part of the story, why do we praise them telling that story?
Right.
You know, the lion never gets the glory in the story because it's the hunter who kills the lion and tells what the fuck he wants the story to be.
Yeah.
The hunter could be there and it could have been a fucking grenade that went off and the lion just happened to be in the path of the grenade, but the hunter sitting there with his rifle, his motherfucking cigar, but his wood pipe and his pilgrim hat on, like, yeah, man, he was coming down in the valley and I was there and I had my 30-06 on him and it was either him or me and I made it out of there with just a pair of clippers, some tweezers, some tinfoil, and a VCR tape, and I won. And society will believe that shit and praise his ass.
Now, you guys got Apple TV? Are y'all familiar with this movie called The Banker?
No.
It was Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie was in it. And it was a story of some brothers who was real estate investors, and they couldn't even be allowed into the front door of this bank. And so what they ended up doing was, under fake names, they bought the bank. They used a white boy janitor who was on their team. They trained him on how to speak the talk, and they bought the bank under his name. And they eventually ended up buying banks, and they was controlling it because they actually owned the corporation. But they put the white boy up front to go hustle for them. Well, as this movie was being released on Apple TV, somebody came and said that there was some historical inaccuracies in the movie, and that one of the sons of these guys was serving as a producer, and somebody said that this son, not the actual guys, but the son who had the rights to the story, was involved in an inappropriate relationship. They literally pulled it. They pulled the movie. Apple TV eventually released it, but they released it with no commercials, no nothing, this and that. But it's available on there. But the thing is that they said this movie about these two heroic black men who basically owned $15 million of real estate in the 1960s in LA under fake names, and they bought banks all across the country and was on their way to become billionaires. In fact, the character that Samuel L. Jackson played in order to attend the meetings to make sure that the white boy didn't go off script, he would pretend to be his butler. I mean, like his driver. So he would, even though it was really his money and his company, he would sit there in a driver outfit, and people be like, "Why is he in here?" "Oh, I just want him close." But that was so he could hear what was going on. But because the movie they said there was some inaccuracies, they pulled the movie.
Right.
On the Homie movie, when we say, "Hey, there's some inaccuracies," they like, "Hey, it's just a movie. Get over it, pal."
Right. And like I said, the last known Ugaji, that's the Homie tribe person, died in 1979.
Which is within our lifetime. So this ain't ancient history as they
With
try to sell
battlefield
it.
experience, died in 1979. They were over 100 years old. So now here we are in 2022. So this movie was probably filmed a year or two
20?
ago.
21.
2020. You're talking 40 years of nobody really being able to combat or say this ain't that, but actually you do have people who are, because if you really know the science of things, mouth to ear, everybody doesn't tell you. I don't have to tell you my organization, or if I'm a part of an organization, you may not never know, because we don't boast mouth to ear, because if everybody knows what organization you're in, you get taken out, or something happens, or your vices are exploited. But I'm just saying, is this story, and like I said, I'm not coming from a misogynistic
Keisha said, "What are y'all talking about?"
at all with this.
Look at Kenneth's response to her.
I'm just wondering, and
See,
why do people who don't look like us tell our story so much, and we're so quick to run to it?
it's a quick buck.
And I get to say, at the same token, if there was a melanated producer who tried to tell the same story, would they get the backing? Probably not. So I understand that point of it, but also when I was reading and whatnot, is this for the backlash that this movie getting? Because everything's a double-edged. This is a double-edged sword, you know. And like I said, I'm coming from a neutral stance on this, but I'm looking at both sides and I'm receiving the information and really trying to learn something, because that's the point of life. We need to learn something. This movie, because the more power that the melanated woman receives, which she naturally owns and displays so gracefully, the more accolades that they get, the other side crumbles. So this is another movie where she might be nominated for all them trophies that, I'm gonna be honest with you, that don't mean shit, that y'all all out there praise motherfuckers for, the popularity contest. The opposition of that will be seen as, oh, you against the black woman. And is this a ploy by the other side, the Pilgrims, to be like, look, we're gonna make this movie, we're gonna get the, and I'm gonna say black for this reference, we're gonna get the black woman who they love to play this role, because when the truth come out, they're gonna hate on it so much it's gonna be controversy, because good press or bad press is still press.
Yeah.
Because we sitting here talking about this shit right now, and
the
we ain't
movie
talking
is
about the
going
fucking
pretty
coach
bad
fucking
so far,
other
yeah.
bitches.
In fact, Babyface and them bought out some theaters in order to bought all the
Sales.
tickets
Yeah.
and stuff. But when you subtract that, it's not, because there's been a strong grassroots movement of people saying, "Hey man, we're not supporting that shit." But people have to understand, this is a tried and true formula in Hollywood. Blaxploitation was so
Yes.
strong in the 70s because finally black people were seeing. They didn't make black movies before the 70s because they said black people don't go to the movies like
Right.
that. They can't afford it. They too poor.
Yeah.
Then blaxploitation came along, and they was making movies on a shoestring budget like Dolomite and this and that, and the movies was making millions of dollars. But then the white guys figured. Then the white guys started. Late 70s, the white people started producing. If you look at a lot of the blaxploitation films in the late 70s, Golan and Globus was the company, and American International
MGM?
was the companies that started producing the films. So you started getting, and that's when the story started getting outlandish. Everybody was just super pimping and all that. You didn't have no more Sounder or what's the one with Claudine. You didn't get any more of those stories anymore. Just everything just got super outlandish.
Yeah.
But then the white people, late 70s, figured something out. If they took the same movies they was already making and just threw a random black face in there, there was no more need to produce black movies because we could just throw. So that's why in the 80s,
We give you some going.
that became the era of the token black guy.
Yes.
So you throw that in there. So
Revenge
they
of
found
the
out.
Nerds. You got the one black guy, but he's a part of the alphabet.
But then they knew we would go see it, so there was no
Right.
more need to produce whole black movies.
Yeah.
Just do the movie you're doing and throw a black guy in there, and all the black people will
You could
go
throw
see
two.
it. You know, Eddie Murphy used to make movies in the 80s. I love Eddie to death, but Eddie made movies in the 80s where it would literally be only one black guy, and that was Eddie. But now when Eddie got his paper in 88, when Eddie got out them bunk contracts that he was in, that's when he started producing Harlem Nights, Coming to America, Boomerang, and Eddie started doing movies.
Because he was in what? Best Defense?
Yeah. It'd be all these movies with just Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
All white people. But for anybody to say Eddie Murphy was a sellout, in the late 80s, when Eddie got into a power position, he started making movies that was only black people. Boomerang, Coming to America, Harlem Nights. Eddie only made black people movies, so Eddie wasn't a sellout. But there was a lot of cats who wasn't in that same position of power as Eddie, and that's what we're seeing now. When you get to Fox and stuff like that, when they first built Fox and the CW, anytime Hollywood really needs to make some money,
CW was the WB.
yeah. But anytime Hollywood needs to make some money, they will make an all-black movie because they know but they'll be white producers. We'll run and get it, then they'll take that money and do what they want. Whenever they want to build a network, they launch it with all-black shows.
Prime example. Go ahead.
And then
Switch it.
once they get their money, the black people is out because they know we are a trusted consumer base. If they masquerade something with just a few black faces, they know opening night, we are there.
Because
We
prime
stimulate
example,
the whole economy. We go buy an outfit, the whole
the
night.
WB. Remember when back in what was that, the 90s? The WB network. All they lineup was black shows. Yeah, WB Fox, and they used the frog from Warner Brothers, WB, which is Warner Brothers. They used the frog as the mascot. Yeah, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. If you know the history of that song, that frog, that was some step and fetch shit. Niggas, I'm calling y'all niggas. Not all y'all, but I'm just
But if you
speaking
spoke
in general.
against it, you'll be a hater.
I'd be hating. Exactly. They started their lineup with all the black shows. You had hella black shows on the WB.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Wayne Brothers and all that?
Yeah.
All these shows was on the WB.
So that's how you build a network.
Except you build a fan base.
The black consumer base
It's
is
profit.
literally, if you keep the costs low and you launch a black movie or a black series, black people is coming. Then you use that advertising, those ticket banks to do what you want to do with the black, but you pander to the black people and we show up. We've been falling for this banana in the tailpipe for 40 years.
More than 40.
So what do y'all think about, like on a cable TV, they'll have like the black movie channel. Y'all think that's necessary?
I'm going
or
to
is
tell
it
you
a sham?
something.
Because I don't never see the Chinese movie channel or the Mexican movie channel.
Actually,
I'm saying
everything has a movie channel.
But I'm saying
There's
the
certain
way that it is, like it's like the black movie channel, like it's different. Though.
Because
It's not like
$1.
it's not like a channel that you click through. It's like being advertised as like HBO Black or like you know what I mean, like
you gotta
what is it? Essence or not Essence?
all
Special
black.
What's the? I know what your Stars Black.
Yeah.
The Stars got
Yeah,
the
there you
Stars
go. That's
Black, and because the other nationalities, they have channels. Remember when we were kids? We all grew up watching Telemundo. You got Channel 26 here in the Bay. Remember you watched the Asian movies? All the channels had their shit, but the thing is, those other ethnicities have a strong understanding of who they are and in touch with their roots. So they support their shit on their own without our shit is marketed to us because
But it's an
we
Asian person
lack
selling the
identity.
Asian
Right.
stuff.
Exactly.
It's a white person selling us. BET
We
is owned by Viacom.
allow somebody else to tell us who the fuck we are. Rest in peace, Jake Johnson. Soul Beat, founded in Oakland, was the first black owned
And people treated
television
him like
network.
a joke.
The first black out of Oakland. The first. Not BET. And BET is owned by Nan Negro right now.
In fact, Soul
I don't give a
Beat,
shit who you put as the face of it. The
Yeah.
motherfucker is not the owner.
even Oprah Network is not owned by Oprah anymore.
None.
You know what's funny though is that Chuck Johnson from Soul Beat
Mm-hmm.
was involved in the beginning of Soul Train, but Don Cornelius wanted to syndicate and basically have white sponsors, and Chuck Johnson wanted to go solo, and that's why Chuck Johnson came to Oakland and launched that. But now they got a whole series about Soul Train, and they 2 seasons deep, and Chuck Johnson has
Ain't
never been
mentioned.
mentioned.
He won't be, because it's somebody that doesn't look like him that's writing the story. Which, back to this movie, which I'm not saying I have issues with the glorification of black people enslaving our people, but that is true fact though. That's something that needs to be discussed.
But if you don't blindly support, they make you feel like you're a sellout.
Right, and I
Yeah.
will not do that. But at the same time, I understand that society will play this is just men that don't want to see women together empowered.
Right.
I understand the game that's being played right now. I just choose not to play it. And
But
as a
they
society,
always manage to pit us against each other.
exactly. And my thing is, I'm above. I'm not above no one, but I'm above low level thinking. When it comes to this,
With low vibrations.
like low vibrations, but for you woke niggas. The game, Keisha, the game is perseverance and really understanding representation matters, and not
It really
just not just buying into something because somebody puts our face on it and buying it hook, line, and sinker without understanding
They just
really what's
pandering
going
to
on.
us.
Because we are celebrated, castrated, violated, and celebrated in some instances. But are we understood?
Are we really heard?
Yeah. Because from what I've read, and I've read from about this movie, that there's scenes where they tried to play where Viola Davis's character, who is a fictional character, I'm gonna tell you right now, her character is not a real person. It's fictional, made up. So it's not. It's scenes where the king of the homie tribe, who was a man, the king was a man, where her character is telling him, oh, you need to get out of the slave trade. You don't need to do that. We need to find other ways to make money and, support our people. That, once again, this is not a real person, so this is the pen of people who don't look like me, who knew that there are going to be people who probably going to research this and have an issue with it. So let's throw this in there to battle that in beforehand. No, we put that in there to where, hey, we shouldn't be enslaving people. Nah, they were hardcore with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like
And
Pearl said,
fought for
the
it, to preserve it.
British outlawed Atlantic slave trade in 18. Oh my God, what year was it? I'm having a brain.
It's in the
fart.
1830s.
I believe it was 1832 or 34, if I'm not mistaken. But this tribe didn't stop until 1850 something, and
They
it
had
was
to fight
only
a war
because of pressure from the Britons to stop. But then there was a time period where, and this is true, this ain't in the movie, they still went back to it.
Yeah.
And
it was
only
easy money for them.
Yeah, because it was lucrative. And then there was a time where they got into a conflict with the French, who ultimately defeated them. And this is and see, this might not be in the movie. This may not be in the movie. Now, this great warrior woman soldiers, and there were men soldiers as well. Don't I'm not taking away from the women. There was a period. They had a 7-week war in 18. The fall of 1892. They had a war with the French. It was 7 weeks. They lost between 2,000 and 4,000 of their soldiers died. But they were so tenacious in their aggression. I mean, they were hardcore. I salute that aspect of it, that warrior mentality. And the training from what I've studied and researched and looked into them. So I salute that wholeheartedly, But my issue is the telling of the story by somebody who doesn't look like me. And
like, what was their purpose?
Because I'm going to make some money off black people, and I'm going to put a black woman in front of it, because we know the melanated woman is God. Even if you don't know, you really know. You're just in denial. But that's what it is, and I'm going to put it out there, and controversy will say. Because if you don't know about this tribe, initially they were elephant hunters. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine women going to hunt elephants? I'm speaking facts. This ain't some shit that somebody that don't look like me made up. These are facts. Could you imagine what it takes to go hunt an elephant? And to give you some more footnotes into symbolism and things being taken from us, our true identity, and being thrusted into Hollywood and things that we've all grown up on. Mm-hmm. When we were kids, you heard about the Amazon woman tribes, right?
Yes. Them is scary.
There was none. This actual tribe here is who they were talking about. The Greek mythology was about the Dahomey, female soldiers. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman character came from an island of all woman soldiers. That was from the pen talking about this tribe, but they had to put it in a skin tone that
would be acceptable.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is we've always been for sale, but have we always been for profit for us?
No.
You'll get that at 3 a.m.
Now let me ask y'all a question. Y'all familiar with Issa Rae, right?
Yes.
She made Insecure. She has a thing where she had this slogan where she started putting like, well, I'm cheering for anybody black. Right?
And they tried to hang her for that shit.
But here's one of the flip sides to that is that means you getting put into a position where if somebody black launches something out, mm-hmm. you gotta support it. And if you don't, then you're against. How do you feel about us being put in a position where if they put a black face up, we kind of gotta support it, or at very least we can't speak against it?
Right.
So I'll probably, on the other end of the spectrum, I'll be feeling like the same way. Like, I feel like I'm going to support it just off top, just because, you know what I mean? Like, I look at shit in a different way. Like, not to change the subject, but we talk about these type of movies and who's in it and why are they in it and this, that, and the other. But we got all these mass shootings, and the top selling movies is some fool running around killing 20 people in the movie, blowing stuff up, but we support that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if we support that, how can we be hypocritical and have an issue with the technicalities of a slave movie or something like that when we watching people getting their brains blown out, and this is like shit we see every day in the town. Right. You know what I mean? Maybe not seeing it literally, but I'm just saying, like,
this is what we live in, our environment.
You know, so I'll be just more so on the thing that even though it's a movie, to me, it's still fictional. It's still like that woman. Like, okay, so you saying the white woman or whatever created the movie, and she got the black people that she's exploiting. She could have not did nothing. Then no black people would have got paid in the movie.
I understand.
And you know what I'm saying?
I
So
understand that.
I'm not saying that in a way of. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, we make movies here for real. So it's like, if one of the homies call me like, yo, I'm about to be in this movie, wait, whoa, I'm going to be like, yeah, bruh, for real, like, do that shit. As long as it ain't like, you know what I'm saying, like something like too terrible. Yeah. Right,
You
exactly.
ain't wearing a dress. As long as it ain't R. Kelly, the junior years type shit.
Yeah.
I get it.
No,
So you willing to support art for art's sake?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just
like if it's an artistic endeavor and you got some black folks in it, you fuck.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I understand that mentality. I think what happens with us, we lose sight. Same thing when it comes to politics. We lose sight of just because somebody is showing us doesn't mean they're for us. Completely.
yeah.
And I don't know these people that made this movie and wrote it and whatnot. I don't. I'm just, like I said, I'm just looking at it and I'm really just listening. Like I said, I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me think about this. Because we too often run and blind support shit without the full context of understanding what's really going on, and we get caught up in it. And because I love supporting melanated owned, melanated business, melanated anything. I'm with you on it. I understand that. I do. I'm really be wanting to do
first
that.
day in the theater type dude.
I want to do that. But at the same time, when do we, and this is, you can take this when it comes to music, anything. When do we start saying, hold on? See, that's the real question. When do we start saying, hold on, let me look at this a little different? Am I really fucking with this? Am I supporting you just because you look like me? Or do something that you speaking on, doing, portraying resonate with my spirit? And I think a lot of us don't go that deep with shit. We don't. Same thing when it comes to us holding ourselves accountable for things. We'll only hold ourselves accountable at a surface level when it comes to getting into our own flaws. And I'm a part of that same shit. I hold myself accountable. I do. You know, but
there is a reasoning that some people be like, man, it's just a movie. Chill out. I've been told that. It's
That's
just a movie.
how I
Chill
be.
out.
That's what I be on. Like,
it's like, why pay attention to it? Exactly. Like, I can tell you now, I don't watch, like you was talking about the black networks, shit, the black, and I use air quotes when I say this, but the black networks, the black shows, I watch very minimal of it. I don't really watch a lot of TV anyway. I mean, I do watch some shit and whatnot, but a lot of that marketed shit, it just doesn't, I don't feel a connection to it because I think it's really fucking slapstick bullshit.
It's pandering.
Yeah. And I watched, and I'm not going to say the name of this show. I was watching on Netflix. I watched this one show, and it's a black show that came on. And I only watched part of it. I didn't get through the whole first episode of it. And it was, the premises was a black family, affluent, powerful, into some nice shit. And the dad died, and the son was, y'all might catch it. I'm not going to watch it, but because I just was like, see, here we go with that bullshit. But it just went way left with the character of the son. And I was like, here we go with this shit. Why we can't have a show if we gonna have a show about us, if we righteous, and I'm not saying lifestyles or nothing, but it's like everything don't have to be always on some different bullshit. But that seemed like the only, besides the slave shit, we on this other shit. Or we make a movie, a show, and then where we killing all of us.
To a ridiculous level.
Right. It's, when do we elevate above that?
Well, to that note,
when it comes to entertainment,
Lodge was saying, There is, and I understand the sentiment of support everything black, because as a filmmaker, I understand that there's a lot of white filmmakers who have the privilege and luxury to tell diverse stories.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they can think of. You know what I'm saying? And so it is, and I'm acknowledging this, it is unfair of me to say, when a black person makes a film, it gotta be some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll go watch Spielberg or this one and that one, and I just watch the shit.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and be like, oh man, he ain't keeping it 100, or that shit. You know, I just watch it. It's just entertainment to me. So, but when a black person makes a film, I look at it like it got to be more than entertainment. You got to say some shit. Yeah. You got to give me some. Yeah, you know, you got to give me some soul food.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is, I do understand that is unfair of me. And like I said, when I said to you earlier, like some people believe art is for art's sake. Like it don't have to say nothing. It don't have to grammar. Like if this is the art you create, this is the art you create. Mm-hmm. And I do understand that it's unfair to act like every time a black filmmaker makes something, it gotta be this noble thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that, but but that's the box that we get put in. Yes. Like right now, yesterday Twitter was going crazy. Because y'all know this chick,
on Twitter,
you know this chick Glorilla, right?
Mm-hmm. Who?
The Glorilla chick. She had this fuck nigga free video.
Yeah.
And her and Cardi B made a song together, and it dropped at midnight last night. But Twitter was going crazy waiting for this video, and when the video dropped, and it's already done like almost 2 million views since midnight last night. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it, and on one hand I'm looking at it like, let's just keep it 100. Cardi B is ratchet. This chick, Glorilla, she's from Memphis, and she's the new. Her song was "Fuck Nigga Free." FN. She's super ratchet, right? So I looked at these two chicks, and they done made a ratchet anthem, and it's got 2 million views in 12 hours. And I was looking at it like damn, because if you one of them type of people, like, oh, look at our queens. Well, this ain't no queen shit. It was some ratchet shit. But on the other hand, I was like, man, I know the chick Glorilla a year ago was probably in Section 8. And now she getting millions of views. So on one hand, I'm like, man, they eating.
Doing something.
Like, I'm proud. But on the other hand, I'm like, man, is this really some shit, though, that...
Hey, right. Rob said Glorilla look like a gorilla.
So that's so even with music, that is always the dilemma as a black creative, that it's like you got an obligation.
You got a box that you have to get in. You have to get...
Your shit can't be ratchet.
You got to be hood certified to have any credibility or substance, but you got to have... I mean, just like when we talk about, like, because on the subject of female rappers, I like bars, real bars. And don't get me wrong, I'm a heterosexual man. My shit work. Rob, trash is trash. Just seeing all the bodies and all that, don't get me wrong.
But we cheer for everybody black, right?
We looking, we see it, I get that, but it's like, if your song is, if all you doing is twerking and ass, and I'm not knocking nobody. You're trying to come up. If you use that and you make a fucking super nonprofit that fixes Mississippi's water, and you put some money in a lawyer that's gonna put Brett Favre in jail, great for you. But where's the substance? Because don't get me wrong, we do the dog and pony show for less all the time. But when it comes to female lyrics,
black,
yeah, right.
That means we got to support the ratchet shit too. Because we don't want to go against the queens.
Here was my thing. So we had a conversation on one of our shows where I think I was probably the only one who said that I didn't think the Martin show was buffoonery. And
I'm sorry. I might lose my black card with my opinion on the Martin.
So my thing is this.
I ain't mad.
Martin, to me, was that dude in class that was funny. Your partner that you seen that just made you laugh. The fool that just said stupid stuff.
Happy to see him win.
Just to have fun. It ain't literally Martin just being like, this stand-up guy. The whole point was he was a stupid, funny dude. And like, I knew so many people that I would see like that. Like, soon as you see this dude, like, you know he about to make you laugh.
That goes back to the obligations that we feel black artists have to have a certain level of responsibility.
So
let me tell you this. Hold on, I'm not
the
finished with
presence
my
of the
point.
show. Go ahead.
So this is my thing. Now, I'm going to switch the subject, but I'm going to tie it together. So now look at Donald Trump. Now this fool done did all this stuff. He got classified documents. He got all this stuff going on. What does he do? He starts a nonprofit organization for him to receive money to fight this case. Just like the dude who's slandered the Sandy Hook people.
Oh, you talking about Alex Jones?
Who also started a nonprofit.
And I put in my story.
A nonprofit organization who's getting millions of dollars to fight a case for some stuff that he's clearly wrong about. So while we complain about certain things like Martin, how come, I want to say names, but how come these cats is getting these $250 million contracts, ain't putting their money together to buy a film company? If we complaining, see, the other folks, they don't complain about it. They will. One person will give $5. Somebody might give $5 million. But at the end of the day, he got $50 million to put out there what he wants to do. So while we sit back and we say, "Oh, this don't look at the way it's supposed to be," the way I look at it is that, well, we ain't put no money into nothing, so we complaining about what somebody else is doing, and we don't come together and make a change. They come together whenever they got an issue with something or something's not being displayed the way they want it to be. They say, all right, shit, all I got is $1. Well, all I got is $45. Well, all I got is $4,500. Well, all I got is $45 million. Let's give it to this cat and let him put the shit out the way he wants it to be. Until we start doing that,
hey, remember, like
I'm just supporting cats because all it is talk. That's why when Bruh said, "Oh, y'all should be independent. Y'all shouldn't be the Republicans or Democrats." Independents ain't putting up no money for each other. So you got an independent idea that's running straight into a brick wall. So for me, I vote Democrat. Why? Because I haven't in the past, but why am I going to? Well, shit, I might as well vote for somebody who's 5% against me than vote. You put up a vote. Independent has 0 votes.
That's why I've always voted Democrat.
It has no weight. You saying you independent? You're saying you're just sitting on the sideline watching. What's that gonna do?
No. As an independent,
an independent's never gonna be a president. An independent's never gonna be a senator.
Don't be a senator. Remember, they said there would never be a melanated person in the White House.
In our lifetime.
It may be. You never know. But here's the thing.
That's just my opinion.
I feel you. But you understand the Klan, initially, the origins of the Klan is Democrat.
Yeah, I know. But the whole philosophy switched. You're talking about...
Hold on. Listen.
You're talking about putting a sticker on something.
No. I'm finna give you some context. And this goes into this movie thing. Let me give you the context.
Okay.
And give you the bait and switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not... I say fuck both parties.
I do too.
But listen to me.
I do
I'm
too.
gonna give you some context.
That's my thing, though. I do too. But being independent, that's not having a voice at all.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me give you the bait and switch. The Democrats were losing consistently when blacks started getting what appeared to be the semblance of importance or voice. The Democrats, who were always about lynching, killing, robbing, raping, and pillaging, because them Kennedys they true story is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You'll never get their real true story.
I believe that.
There's some of us that know it, though. But that Jack Kennedy and Jacqueline are the American version of the Queen and King, according to American folklore. Once the Democrats seen that the Negro, because I'm going to call us Negro for half a second because we
You
always
gotta
on
say
the
the
knee.
so-called.
The so-called, excuse me, yeah, the so-called Negro. I'm gonna give you some intelligence. The bootlegging family, that's right. And if y'all don't know what bootlegging is, there was a time when you couldn't have this shit. And if I sold it to you, I could go to jail for it.
Bootlegging was nothing but their version of the crack game.
Crack gang,
Yeah,
exactly.
facts.
But they get nobilized.
Big doing it, big
Capone.
money. So there was a time when the so-called Negroes' relevance started appearing to the people in power. So what do? Because I know that I can only keep you down at this level for so long. So your war against equality, war for equality, is progressing, and I need to concede. So now, what they say, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Mm-hmm. That's the true definition of that. When you really break this shit down when it comes to the Democrats.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. As a young kid, I was blinded by shit until I started understanding closer than your chick. Closer than your chick. Because white men will vote for a black man before they vote for a white woman.
Yes.
That's something you'll get at 3 a.m.
If y'all watch Game of Thrones or any of that, they showed even in ancient history, they will burn this motherfucker down before they let a woman run it.
So what happened, the bait and switch. They started, we gonna support the blacks now because their voices are powerful. Because once we were synonymous with unison, we were together.
Yeah.
So
even to this day, 95% blacks will vote for Biden.
Right. You have the white woman who was treated as a stepchild in her own home, and they started this women's suffrage fight. The women's lib, burn the bra, all that, and I'm just spitting feminism. I'm speaking true facts. In the black home, I'm calling y'all black just for educational purposes. That wasn't a problem in our homes. But what happened? The white woman said, all women. And black women said, yeah, all women. It wasn't they fucking fight. We was always together, but the Democrats pulled the swindle. And what do? Same thing we doing for this movie. I'm just speaking from a factual standpoint right now. Once again, I ain't saying I'm completely against this movie. I'm just against the swindle.
Yeah.
You'll get that at 3 a.m. when you really understand what the fuck I'm telling y'all. We fell for the swindle because we ran to the shit because it seemed like, oh yeah, they with us, they for us. Mm-hmm. So then they started social services, AFDC, welfare, aid. Just like you said with your brother. For you to get this, you need to kick this person out your household. Who you kick out your household? The man.
Mm-hmm. Because more money can come into the house without the man
father
with him. But some people will tell you that's a myth.
That's not a myth. You cannot have an able-bodied male living in your house and receive government funds.
Hey, Peaches.
Because why? Because an able-bodied male should be the head of the household.
Keisha, you should agree with it all.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
But who started all that? When you really go look into who started all this shit that started the division between our people.
Mm-hmm. The war on poverty or whatever?
Go look at who really started that. Now, I ain't talking about Reagan and his Republican drug shit.
Like that was the other kick. Right?
Yeah, Nixon with his swindles. Because we've been fucked by both.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell I'm going to support either when I'm getting
what they said,
getting balls slapped in my face and getting a fist in the ass.
You got to vote for one of them, no?
I get you.
But see, I understand.
Lesser of two evils? That's a cop-out.
I love history, and I understand everything that you're saying. But you can't get caught up in who wears what jersey. See, motherfuckers just flip jerseys. It doesn't matter what the name of it is. It matters what the cause is.
Okay.
So I'm saying, as of today, right now, in this
The Democrats
lifetime,
is a better choice for
the
us.
Democrats, I feel, in my opinion, are a better choice. Do they stand for everything that I think is right? Hell no. Do they bend us over and put Vaseline on their finger? And hell yeah, they
smell
do.
their finger afterwards.
Exactly. But what's worse? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's worse? And for me, I feel that being an independent is being a cop out, because what voice do you have?
You got to pick up a gun and fight for one
What
of them.
voice do you have? What voice do you have as an independent?
Here's the thing.
You can, because independents have the leeway to say, oh, well, this year I'm going to vote Democrat, and next year I'm going to vote Republican because I like that.
With the wind.
So if I'm in, here's the thing. You got a group of dudes playing basketball. I'm gonna bring it down to some nigga shit. You got a group of
just say no
motherfuckers.
Vaseline.
Yeah, you got a group of niggas playing basketball. Democrats versus Republicans. I'm the independent. It's my basketball.
You gonna pick
Fuck
your
all
ball
y'all.
up
I
and
take
go
my
home?
ball and go home. Fucking play with yourselves.
But what happens? But that's the thing. You're not playing with enough money. So
It's my ball. You're missing my point.
No,
Listen to me. It's my basketball. You can't play without my ball.
right.
My ball is important. So you
But
address.
what is your ball, though?
Listen, it's
Your
my
vote.
ball.
Your vote.
It's my ball.
Mm-hmm.
You either gonna address. Either I'm playing on the second string. I ain't saying I got to be the first string every
But you gonna
time.
put me in the game.
This is my fucking ball. That's what matters.
But that's what.
It's my
But
ball.
that's what led me to my point earlier.
It's my ball.
But your ball is raggedy. Your
No,
ball.
it's the only ball.
No, it's not. It's not. Until we get. I would rather be independent. Until we get. I'm going to start
That's what we
calling
need
out
to
names. Until we get the LeBron Jameses.
Mm-hmm.
Until we get the Steph Currys. Until we get these brothers out here that's making $250 million
But
to
Peaches, one
have
is better
a
than the other.
basketball.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, bro, because guess what? When you say, "Well, I'm taking my ball," they finna get on their phone and have another basketball pull up right there, and they gonna get a brand new ball, and they not gonna care about.
I'm
your
gonna give you
ball.
a prime example of what your party just did. Last election, they understood that this was my ball. They put once again, air quotes, because she ain't black. They put a black woman as nominee for president. And what niggas do?
But what was
We
they
there.
supposed
Don't
to
get me
do?
wrong.
What was they
I
supposed
get it.
to do?
But listen.
We were supposed to be like, "Oh, wait a minute, she's
No,
black,
listen,
so this is a
listen.
booby trap.
No.
I'm not voting for her."
No, but you gotta
We
understand.
cheer for everybody.
You got
black.
it right. But I'm just saying, when you understand the game, the full game, because I understand. Because don't get me wrong, I voted for them because I wasn't voting for the orange motherfucker.
But the sister lived in
Orange
the town,
Jesus.
and she was an AKA.
Right.
That's
Listen,
a
I
black
couldn't
woman.
go for Orange Jesus, man. I'm sorry.
That's a black woman.
But
though.
listen to me. That's what y'all say. So the thing, what I'm gonna say is, when it comes to just, because I'm pro melanated all day. But if we blindly throw our association, our allegiance to shit without context, we're gonna stay here and we all gonna have Flint water and Mississippi water, and we're gonna have athletes getting millions of dollars while I gotta divorce my wife to get AFDC.
Goddamn shame.
Because
And Brett Favre walking off with the welfare money.
that's what I'm saying. When do you
I'll
look at the
give you a
look at
prime
the
example.
game?
But Keisha, you do gotta have some deepness with it. You do gotta.
When do you look at this for what it is and stop? Once again, to everybody's point, when do we stop allowing the excuses? Because we only want to hold ourselves accountable so far, surface deep. If I've done this, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've looked at myself from my childhood and shit, and there's things that I've thought about and changed, and been like, oh, I really don't like that about me, and I've been like, damn, oh, I'm an asshole here, oh, a lot of people. I can only speak for me. To really do that, I mean, to the bone. Look in the mirror, because that's your only competition at the end of the day. But to do that, do people really do that? No. What we do, we pacify ourselves with the just good enough shit. That's why you got participation trophies. That's why we allowed these other entities to put somebody in front of us, and we blindly say, "Oh, just because they black or just because that, I'm gonna fuck with it." But at the end of the day, yeah, the person that's in front of them, and I'm not gonna go on this movie, but the concept of this movie, the actor, oh yeah, we supporting them, and don't get me wrong, this actor, actress, whoever the fuck they is, melanated or not, may not even have the deepness of understanding to understand that they're being used. Mm-hmm. And they know that they got a following, and they could be good to the core from all intents and purposes. Mm-hmm. So I'm not attacking any of them at all, personally, because I don't know them
the
personally.
Way it gets framed,
right? It
appears.
I can come to you with all intents. My heart is pure. When at the end of the day, you put the feather in my heart, they're gonna weigh the same. I can honestly say that in all aspects of my existence. But I could be used because my pureness and my righteousness, and it could be something that I'm not even have the knowledge or understanding of, but I can be used in the wrong way that takes away from my pure message. Mm. And people gonna follow it because, oh man, Deshaun a good dude. Deshaun stand up dude. Deshaun's solid.
That goes to my point that I was gonna make. You got, like I said, you got the champ everybody blackness, but people got to remember where that even came from. When they was really on the front lines with the civil rights movement, Sam Cooke was the biggest black singer, and he made the change gonna come. He was out front for the movement. Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion. He was out front. Jim Brown was the best football player. They was out front. Dick Gregory was just as big as Dave Chappelle is. Right. So you had all these entertainers who were the biggest in their field, and they was out front. Mm-hmm. Dick Gregory was standing next to Martin Luther King when he gave that mountaintop speech, this and that. So based on that credibility, we have tended to exalt the entertainers because they have been out front.
Yes.
Ali damn near, lost parts of their career, Jim Brown, all that. But, like how we go back there, like, we exalt the entertainers, and now we hold them, the new crop of entertainers, to this damn near impossible standard that we expecting Chris Brown or Jay-Z to be like Dick Gregory or Sam Cooke. And so we hold them to that. So we've ended up holding these entertainers to a flat. But the flip side, though, the entertainers have also benefited because we've also had the mentality of, hey, I'm cheering for everybody black. Mm-hmm. So, whereas we can't expect them to be Dick Gregory or Sam Cooke, but we giving them money and support like they Dick Gregory or Sam Cooke, and we not even questioning them. Mm-hmm. So we holding them to the standard, but we also giving them the pass of, if you put some black folks up front, but the current breed of the Issa Raes and the Lena Waves who did the Shah and all them people don't have the same political agenda that a Sam Cooke or Dick Gregory has. So we really in a perplexed situation where if a black person comes marching across the screen, my instinct is, I need to support that. Right. I need to support that. There's been black movies who came that I bought a ticket to it and I didn't even show up because the movie didn't look interesting to me.
I support
but I still wanted to support. I still want to support the cause. So it's like, man, we got a heavy dilemma. So we gotta start saying to our black entertainers, hey man, y'all gotta be speaking on some shit. Just like with the Democrats. Hey man, y'all gotta speak on some shit. But on the other hand, I understand the concept of that sometimes this is just a motherfucker making a song. Or this is a motherfucker making a movie.
I get it.
I ain't here to save the black race. I'm just a nigga making a movie. So man, I don't know what the question is, how we can even solve this.
The double-edged sword to what you're saying is exactly the thing where, as us, and I'm gonna include myself when I say us, because I'm never gonna elevate myself above anybody. I'm on the same level as everybody. You either understand me or you don't. But we put too much into people who don't live inside our homes. Our heroes, you look back when we was kids, our heroes was within our household. Don't get me wrong, you had, like you said, Jim Brown, some sports stars, or entertainers who had the
You
message,
could
who
actually
knew.
blame OJ.
Yeah, he did some shit.
Because he showed up and look, he was one of the
And I
first
ain't talking
entertainers.
about his
He had the
son
big fro, so he
doing
looked
the
like
job for
us.
him.
He was from Potrero Hill. A lot of people don't seem
Frisco
to realize.
representative.
OJ
PH.
from Hunters Point, so he looked like he
HP.
had the same struggle as us.
But-
he looked like us, but he damn sure wasn't
But
talking about what Jim Brown and
the
Bill
problem-
Russell then was talking about.
Right, because the problem, which this all correlates to what I'm about to say. The problem with all this is we stopped looking for heroes within 6 to 10 feet of us and started looking to heroes who were out of our reach. Because, like I said, if a non-melanated person makes you the spokesperson of their private agenda, and you support it just because it's black, that's your hero now. You look at music. When it comes to rap, I'm just going to use rap because it's hip hop. It's like the Highlander method. There can only be one. When it comes to female rap, there can only be one queen. It can only be one. It's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit mentality that we subscribe to, and we buy into it wholeheartedly on the whole. And this person is, it's like, no, everybody's the GOAT. Simba, shout out to Simba, man, young brother from the Bay, bars personified.
Oh, he's fire.
And, and he spoke. He's like, everybody's the GOAT. Your top 5 in basketball, your top 5 football, your top 5 in rap, your top 5 in soccer, your top 5 actors. Those are your top 5. It's not my fucking opinion or desire, truthfully, to argue that. Because it's your fucking opinion. But everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to say, no, my shit matters, your shit don't.
Big U.
Little me. That's something I learned from my dad. OG in this shit. I come
Going
from great
forward,
stock.
in your opinion, what can we do to get off that of expecting the hero to come across the screen?
I just think, and I'm going to say this wholeheartedly, our stories, and I mean all of them, because here's the thing, need to be told. The shit that black folks, niggas, family members, y'all mamas got cheated on too. So
Heavily.
don't be mad at the Boston coach, because your mama got cheated on too.
You got siblings across town that you don't even know about.
Exactly. Y'all want to ostracize dude for doing some shit, and your mama was getting cheated
He
on.
cheated on me
Y'all ain't
alone.
say shit. You still send your daddy that you think's your daddy Father's Day cards.
He cheated on me
Those
alone.
stories need to be told. Understanding and healing has to happen. We can't keep allowing uninvited guests to tell our stories and dictate what's power to us. That's really what my point is with this
Not
whole
you,
shit.
Keisha. And Rob Hankins is correct.
Right, Rob.
But
Bro, I was waiting for him to tune it because
But do we
late.
we have an expectation to hold black entertainers and the art they
We
create
gotta
to a higher
hold-
standard?
We need to. But at the same time, I understand if I just make a song because this is the mood I'm in, because I'm young, I'm whatever, I get that. You said Nia Long turning into Lisa Ray.
Hold
Hey,
me along.
I'm
Comforter.
going to tell you something. People get cheated on every day, male and female.
Sometimes twice a day.
3 times on Sunday, because you at church praising a God that don't give a fuck about you, that was put upon you by some people who still hate you. But you in there going, never mind. Y'all get that at 3 in the morning. Word to Caesar Borgia.
But you know one of the funniest things, though, we had brought up OJ earlier, and a lot of people don't understand. OJ and Dr. J was some of the first attempts at them to co-opt the image. Because when when Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walked around with their
We ain't bitter.
afros, it was considered revolutionary and defiant.
Yeah.
So then OJ and Dr. J came along, and they had the big fros too, and they looked like Jim Brown, they looked like Kareem, but OJ and Dr. J was not pushing no type of protest, this and that, and that's when they started getting the impression of just bring out the blackface, give them the look of the cat,
movement,
but make sure that they more of acceptable. So the endorsements that OJ and Dr. J got, the first shoe wasn't the Jordans, it was the Dr. J's.
Dr. J, Converse.
They,
Converse was worth more than Nike.
the endorsement deals that Dr. J and OJ got was way beyond what Kareem and all them got. So a lot of brothers started getting the impression, I can hold up the fist, have the big fro, but I need to make sure I say I love everybody, this and that, and they're gonna put me up front. And so that was how they co-opted the image, and that still goes on to this day. They'll put somebody up that looks like us,
Pimping is pimping, and I ain't
and
talking
everything
about
like that, but they not talking about what we talking about.
right. Exactly. I mean, because pimping is pimping, and I'm not talking about a male getting a female to go out there and lay on her back and give out her natural essence. That's not
Stop
pimping.
that, Keisha. You know we
That's-
ain't bitter.
That's not pimping.
My
I'm
thing
talking
with-
about real pimping.
My
Shit
thing
that's
with the whole
happening right
night has
now.
been a song that just came to my mind is Unity.
Queen Latifah.
Because until we get that, it's just all talk, bro. Like, it's all talk.
What's
I
the
hear
first
you.
step stuff?
But you got to shake off that mentality of I'm gonna vote for them just because they look like me, or because
But
remember,
you also can't,
all skin folk ain't your kin folk.
but
Where does betrayal
but,
come from?
But
It don't come from an enemy. It don't come from somebody who has no loyalty or nothing to you. It doesn't.
But I also look at the other side of that coin
I do too.
as the way that they treated MC Hammer. You
Hammer
can't,
was a
hold on,
prophet.
Hold on, but you
When it
can't.
comes to this music shit
Right,
and the industry,
but you can't hate on a person for going into the Senate and being a Democrat and being a black Democrat and saying, hold on, I'm gonna be that one person that's gonna get these dudes to do this stuff the right way, or I'm gonna be like homeboy, what was it,
Rob?
Rob. He said, but Kamala Harris sent a bunch of people to jail. Yeah, she did. But what you got to understand too is that I know
That was her job.
black women who black men too who are in the
her
legal
job.
system who just went to school, got their degree, and applied for every job that they could get. And one of them might have been a public defender, one of them might have been a trial defender, one of them might have been they just took whatever they had to come, right? So now she's doing her job. The bottom line is, unless you tell me she was just arresting a bunch of innocent black people,
her job.
bruh, if they selling crack, shit, she's doing
that's-
her
once again-
job.
once
So we
again-
get mad at her get mad at. I heard that so much during her running.
Yeah.
It kind of made me mad because I'm like, okay, so she took the first job that she had going. Maybe she chose to be. She wanted to make a change, right?
Because
But
before
at the
that-
same time, she doing her job. And
She
we
was a
out here
prosecutor.
grinding. I sold dope. I sold weed. I did all that. I can't do all this and get caught and then get mad at the dude who arrests me.
Because I was doing my job and they doing their
You know what I'm
job.
saying?
I
Like,
get that.
that's what she's
I
doing. So
get
now
that.
I can't knock her. Now she's not
get
on that.
that.
Now she's on something else. Guess what? If Biden passes away, who's the next president? It's going to be her. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, bro. It's so
you got the
deep,
dude
like,
that she used to fuck gonna be the president
Like that
before she
Peaches.
will be. I said what I said.
I ain't touching it. Hey,
Just saying. I remember. Hey, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I
hey,
remember.
Photoshop me out, Jack.
Yeah, I don't want to get canceled. But anyway, I remember when Montel Williams brought her out on red carpet. Remember, he had two of them because she was one of his chicks. So let's just.
Man, did
If
that
we gonna
nigga fall
hold,
off?
you go from. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not knocking nobody's story.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the context. And oh, actually, no, hold on. Let me back that up.
Hold on.
I'm gonna back that up because I'm finna speak on what you going. I understand and agree with what you're saying as far as that's their job. That was her job.
Yeah.
You can't expect somebody to not do their job. Who the fuck wants to fail? That's their job. I get that. True. That's her job. And when it's like I said earlier, when it comes to the stories and the things of us holding each other accountable, I'm with you on that. Because we can't sit here and be like, man, we had to do this and that, and that's the only way we had. And don't get me wrong. A lot of times that is true. Those means justified the means. The ends justified the means for how you supplied for your family. Because that was the only area you had, because we weren't given jobs. We weren't given fair opportunity. We weren't given a proper education. So you had to survive. There are no short-necked giraffes. They don't exist.
Evolution takes care of them.
Yeah, they don't exist. If you remove all the obstacles, the education, you receive public aid that Brett Favre and his folks raped and pillaged. If you allow the man to be in the household and to be a man,
hey, Peaches, be cool.
Allow a man to be a man.
Y'all know that woman achieved.
No, but my whole point about that is that I don't know Kamala Harris's story like that. Some of y'all might know way more than I do. Mm-hmm. My point is I've been trying to tie everything together tonight. And just like Pharaoh said, we tend to be so damn... When it comes to a black person, they gotta be just stand up. They just gotta be... The movie's gotta be right. They gotta do this. They can't do nothing wrong. Martin can't be a buffoon. He's gotta be right. And then when they do the shit right, then we don't support him. Oh man, he ain't keeping it real.
We've always been like that. Because Rosa Parks wasn't the first person to do that, but she was the first person that they said, okay, we can't dig up
because she fit the public image.
Right.
See, the first was a young teenage sister who was pregnant.
Respectability,
right? So we gotta sit here, once again, holding ourselves accountable, because like everybody with the Martin Luther King shit,
we hold ourselves to almost an impossible
standard,
right?
Because same thing with Martin Luther King, but when it came out with them transgressions and because remember Hoover had microphones in the headboards of his hotel room. So I'm just saying, but those are our leaders.
Yeah,
but they human.
Right.
And that's the thing. I agree with you guys on a lot of shit, but at the same time, we still have to cut away the fat and hold ourselves accountable. Mm-hmm. We can't continue to just let bullshit fly. I'm not saying
have the luxury of just getting down just for the sake of getting down, or do we always got to have a message or an intent?
Some people go through life. Everybody's purpose isn't to be a leader. Everybody's purpose isn't to be the Messiah.
People to be leaders.
Right, exactly. You thrust upon responsibility on some people. I could be a sensational baseball player, and now all of a sudden, because I'm good at what I trained and what my dad taught me and my uncles and the people around me I've studied and trained. I'm a hell of a baseball player, and now I'm thrust upon, and you put this microphone in my face. What do you think about starving kids in Bolivia? You got to prepare me for this shit. We don't prepare ourselves for greatness. We don't. Which all this whole conversation is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We don't prepare ourselves for greatness or the responsibility of greatness, or we don't prepare ourselves for the responsibility of responsibility. And we're victims to that lack of training. So we make foolish decisions because we're human. I can't fault no man or woman for doing something extra because you're human. You only, like we was talking about work boosts and shit earlier, that bullshit. I'm just saying, you're a product of your environment until you learn that your environment is only a condition that can be overcome. But if you never understand that, you'll always be a victim or play the victim to those circumstances. We have to peel all the layers back. Like I said, I'm not arguing you guys' point. I understand your points, but what I'm saying is it's not enough. We have to go deeper. And if we allow ourselves to just only hold, because we can hold R. Kelly accountable for all this shit, but I swear to God, you play his music and somebody is fucking somewhere. Because R. Kelly is one person, Robert's somebody else. That's something that we, and myself included, we differentiate.
But even deeper than that, R. Kelly had a song called "I Believe I Can Fly." I was going through a period of depression, man, where nothing was going right in my life. I was all fucked up in the game.
Yes.
Broke, just all fucked up in the game. And that, I would listen to that song every day, and that would lift me out of my depression. So niggas be thinking I'd be joking when I'd be like, nigga, R. Kelly saved my life. Now, years later, because that was on the Space Jam. Years later, all these horrible things come out about R. Kelly, and everybody be like, oh man, R. Kelly's a monster.
Right.
But on the flip side, I can say, yes, R. Kelly's a monster. But R. Kelly's art also saved my life.
Right.
So, wow.
The messenger is just a messenger.
So on what level do we judge R. Kelly? Because
that matters.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one who across America could be like, man, I Believe I Can Fly really helped me out.
Right, Peaches.
I think, man.
Hey, right, Rob.
I think too much is, see, and like, and even like in the comments, they saying like, yeah, we should be holding our people to a higher standard.
Because
yes, we should be critical.
We owe
of that,
each other that.
but it's a certain thing about life, right? The reality of life is that it don't work like that.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'll give you the prime example.
Go ahead.
The prime example, the biggest person in the news right now is Donald Trump. He is yes, he is, bro. He's dominating
that
all
bitch
news.
just died a couple weeks
I'm just
ago.
saying, though, long term, like over weeks and weeks and weeks, right? Okay, so look.
But a lot of niggas ain't paying attention to that.
A lot of niggas ain't paying attention to that, but they ain't doing nothing out here. I'm talking about the people that's moving and shaking.
Right.
Right? Okay, so this dude done did everything wrong, bruh. His supporters don't give a fuck. You could grab a bitch by the pussy. You could steal money. You could do anything. You could shoot somebody on 5th Street. His people don't care.
As long as you
we care.
To the people that
we care about as long as you saying fuck. As long as you saying fuck you, we get on this. Oh, you gotta have your nails done. Oh, you gotta have your. Oh, you gotta look like this. Oh, you gotta act like this. Oh, you can't be too funny. Oh, you can't be like this. This dude is doing everything. He's stealing money from the government. He's been messing with the dude that killed himself, that was raping all the little girls. Epstein. He's done did it all. He done did it all, and he still got 70 million votes.
But we, as black people,
but let somebody like MC Hammer, who comes in the game humbly, who does everything right, who gives money to his community. Oh, you bought helicopters? Well, nigga, what you doing illegal shit for?
Like I said,
because we grinding, we hustling.
We're in a
so
different position, though.
I was out there doing the shit. I was getting rolled on by the police in West Oakland. You know what I'm saying?
We expect purity, though, from our artists.
We expect purity, bro. We expect too much from ourselves. And then when there's a slight deviance in what's going on, then we start hating on each other. Then we stop. This dude done did everything, bruh. He done messed with underage girls. I know it's gonna come out. The dude done stole money. He done did, and they still want him to be the president. That's Orange Jesus. Hey. And ain't nobody, and they don't care. And anytime he goes to any kind of trial or anything like that, he makes more money than he did when he came out.
Because the defense.
All press.
But when we do something, we quick to turn our back on each other and be like, oh man, you
know why?
You did this, you did that.
Remember what I said earlier? The pen is mightier than the sword. Who tells the story? Who's the writer See, all this, I'm with you. But this all goes back to my deep-rooted points.
Right.
With this movie, with the Brett Favre situation, with the, we ain't even got on the Little Mermaid controversy. That bullshit. All this is correlation to my points. The pen is mightier than the sword. Whoever writes the story dictates the thinking process of the masses. There may be those few sects of people who think outside the box, which I try to be. I wholeheartedly try to think outside of the box. Because if you're in a room full of yes men, I'm in the wrong fucking room. I embody conversation on, hey, Deshaun, you should do something different. Or, like I said, I've been in my job 25 years. I'm high up in my organization. But I don't need a bunch of fucking yes men around me. I need people who think outside the box. You can think the path that I think, but if you think opposite of it, I'm not going to ostracize you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have a conversation to understand. Because one, like I've said several times, I'm interested in how people think. Because how you think dictates and really tells me how you are. That's how I understand people. Because I want to understand how you think. I want to know why you kept fucking pushing the fucking all the buttons on the elevator and making us take hella long to get up. What made you do that shit, really? I want to know. A lot of people don't go beyond the surface. Once again, everything correlates to my thought process. All this shit. People don't go beyond the surface. They only use the bare minimum to justify their reactions, their thoughts, their beliefs. That is why we are fucked. Because we don't go deep. At the end of the day, we can say, and I even said, man, it ain't that deep. Just like I said about the coach shit, it ain't that deep. I didn't want to talk about the coach shit because I already know it's a distraction from other stories that need to be told. So to me, mentally, it's not that deep. Now, I will say this about the coach situation in Boston. Boston is one of the most racist cities in this country.
Facts.
Always has been. Probably always will be. You lost the finals to the Warriors. You're a black head coach. Do you think the Pilgrims were not going to find a way to get you? 4. One of my favorite numbers. You just had the Suns owner, who's a white guy, who damn near has to sell his team now because of misogynistic, sexual, and racist tirades through years of investigation that should be super headlines. But the NBA says, oh shit, you got one of us, we need to get one of you. This guy is fucking the help. And niggas flock to that shit like fucking flies, like simple-minded niggas do.
Shit been trending on Twitter for days.
That's the shit, that's the bullshit that surface shit. That's why I'm like, fuck that shit. That's some bullshit. Motherfuckers fuck co-workers every day, B. I ain't saying, I'm just generalizing the shit. We fall for the banana in the tailpipe instead of paying attention to this racist motherfucker who has some bullshit going on. This movie with some real situations that need to be addressed, that we sugarcoat the other shit. Brett Favre and his $5 million in welfare fraud, that ESPN, all these sport networks, all this shit that surface, and we allow the people with the pen to dictate what our attention is focused on.
But it ain't the people with the pen though.
They're the ones who control the narratives.
With the money, bro.
They're the ones with the pen.
Yeah, the people with the money
are the ones with the pen.
Though. Until we start
doing when do we stop allowing the people with the pen to tell the story?
We start doing like they did back when Rosa Parks, when everybody said, I'm not riding the bus.
Rosa Parks is a bad example.
And they did that shit for a year, and they really seen that our dollars is worth something.
Oh, when the Democrats was like, "Oh, we fucking with y'all."
But the problem
Back to my point earlier.
The problem is this:
when
though.
the Democrats said, "Oh, we fucking with y'all,"
they just changed jerseys. They just changed jerseys.
Exactly my point.
But until we get on some unity, until we all see, we always do what when we wake up in the morning, we don't do shit together, bro.
Right.
That's the problem.
No
we don't all say, "No, we ain't riding BART today." Nobody get on the BART today. It's always gonna be that, "Oh, blood,
right,
I gotta
bitches.
get to work, blood. I ain't worried about them.
Everybody's
blood. I ain't going.
little you.
I'm not getting up an hour early, so I ain't gotta ride BART." Until we start doing what these
like we all
so-called pilgrims is doing,
same with
we just talking, bro.
Right. So
talking.
exactly. So the same with Chuck's mentality on this movie. I understand that because if you speak against this movie, you're going against the grain. But it takes people to be like, well, wait a minute. I'm not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm gonna use the movie Black Panther, and that's Candace's cousin's movie. Shout out to Ryan. Much respect. But you look at this is a movie, fictional character, of course, black, but who saved the day in that movie?
The white CIA guy. Agents.
Those are the pen. That's the pen. That's subconscious. Like I said, I think deeper than surface level shit.
But I'm
when it comes to this representation,
some money though.
When is we can't
let the money person, whoever put up all the money, say, "Nah, make that a brother right there."
Hey, to your here we go. The movie about 9/11. The firefighter who did a significant role in the movie.
Don't tell me he was black.
Oh, listen. In the movie, it was a white guy. In real life, it was a black guy. The pen is mightier than the sword. So once again,
who funded the movie?
The
it wasn't
pen.
No black people.
I'm just saying
because we don't.
Listen,
our stars and our celebrities, they don't come together.
But listen,
I don't do that.
I get you.
And not even the little people.
You.
We don't come together.
It's every man for himself.
But listen to me once again. The pen wrote a character, changed the whole ethnicity.
Mm-hmm. And I bet
it was
you
a
that
black
ethnicity
guy.
Rewrote history.
And I bet you that ethnicity came together and put up funds for that movie.
They just said no. They just said, "Oh, we'll do this." That's what they do. So if we allow, once again, and this is I'm being devil's advocate.
Yeah.
When it comes to this movie, because I'm all about the empowerment of our people. But if we allow that pen to dictate and tell our stories, we're gonna blindly go and support it because hey, they look like me. But who's behind it? Remember, the Wizard of Oz is the
context.
The Wizard of Oz. Hold on. The Wizard of Oz is the greatest game movie in all time. If you know what the fuck you looking for. The Wizard of Oz, prime example. They had a fucking dream, and they was on this journey because they thought this motherfucker was who, and he ended up being some motherfucking used car salesman. But everybody was sold on the, what they call it back in the day? The witch's oil? Mm-hmm. They put the shit in your face all day. You can drink the Kool-Aid all you want. And yes, that's a Jim Jones reference for you uneducated people. We drink the Kool-Aid all the time. I don't have a straw.
No, it wasn't, Rob. No, it wasn't. The Wiz was not better.
The Wiz.
They had Dorothy. They have Diana Ross up there. Supposed to be 15. Come on, man.
I'm just saying. I'm with the Wiz. Remember the Wiz. Yeah, you can't win. And as long as we keep supporting who the people behind us support, just because they look like us, you can't win. Michael Jackson told you that shit in the Wiz, nigga.
40 years ago. Rest in peace to Mike.
Y'all better. All I'm asking y'all to do, you ain't got to think like me. You ain't even got to subscribe to my shit. But all you got to do is ask yourself, how
the Wiz was not better than the Wizard of Oz.
Fuck that. I think I'm going home. No place like home. Y'all better understand the wizardry and the
They
technology
had
that
Diana Ross at 42 years old
Acting like
playing a
she 15.
15-year-old.
Hey,
Come on,
because-
man. Let's stop that, man.
Hey,
But
shout out
because
Andre,
you
man.
had
Shout
black
out Andre
stars.
Crump. What's up, boy?
you had
Shout out to Mike, though, and Nipsey Russell.
Nipsey Russell, exactly. That was a black star because that was an all-star black cast, and we supported that.
They
But
should
it
have
was,
kept, if they'd have kept it as Stephanie Mills.
all right, shout out to
Yeah.
Stephanie Mills, who don't get her flowers as much
Yeah.
as she should. You know what I'm saying?
See,
but
cheering for the Wiz over the Wizard of Oz is a prime example of
No.
I'm cheering for
we
everybody
make
black.
that shit. But
No matter
how many?
what.
But how many of y'all sat here and watched? I'm trying to think of some of these fucking movies that's straight out blasphemous bullshit. Where it's the other playing a black role, Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra, all that shit. The misnomer that Medusa had her head full of snakes when y'all really know that was a melanated woman that had dreads. You'll get that at 3 a.m.
And
if
she
you
was so
study.
beautiful that motherfuckers
Turn to
froze.
stone. Why? That's because they was like, ooh. See, don't let these people with the pen, once
I
again, the pen tell you what the fuck is. The lion never gets to tell his story because the hunter killed the lion. The hunter tells the story. There's a reason why they call it history and not facts. They call it history because it's his story. So y'all can continue to allow Hollywood, all these people with the pen and the money that everybody want to chase the bag, y'all can continue to let them dictate and dick feed you your thoughts. Y'all go for it. But at the end of the day,
Rob
right
Haggis,
is
that's
right.
a lie.
wrong is wrong. Because a broke clock is right twice a day.
That's a hell of a lie.
Breaking over Beach Street, ooh.
That man is not telling the truth.
That's a good one. But I'm just saying, you guys, like I said, tonight's conversation was really awesome. Like I said, I hope we touched some shit, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. Because I just really want to have a real in-depth conversation. We didn't even go into the Little Mermaid shit. I'm not trying to go 3 hours.
Yeah, let's wrap because I'm hungry.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Stop letting the pen dictate your allegiance. Because at the end of the day, GAY going against yourself. You'll get that at 3 a.m.
The Latin term is aris grata artis, and it means art for art's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And as black people, unfortunately, in the mainstream, you can make art for the sake of making art. But a lot of us feel, and we disagree, because, but a lot of us, some of us still feel that if you're a black person and you're making art, the art got to say something.
Sometimes people make shit just
and
to
I
make shit.
believe that, but I also recognize that that's unfair to artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, So I'm straddling the fence on this one.
It's a double-edged sword, so I get it. But like I said, you gotta context. There are people who just like, I'm just making songs. I'm just doing something because that's fun. Everything isn't deep, but everything is deep.
Mm-hmm.
You may understand what I'm saying, you may not, and that is perfectly okay.
Well, as an artist, I definitely like dudes like Nas who will tell a story, will start from the beginning of that Nas and Biggie, people like that will start from the beginning of that verse, spit something and stay on topic. The majority of rappers, if you listen to them, every other sentence is a whole fucking other topic. And it's just art. So that's kind of how I look at the movies and stuff like that. I'll just be happy to see black people win. And I do understand the other side of you need to be held to a higher standard. So I don't want y'all to think I was knocking y'all for that. But at the same time,
this was all conversation.
Yeah, at the same time, I just want to see everybody win. But I just believe nothing ain't gonna change until we all come together.
I want to see.
We got a dude up here going crazy on the whole country, and he gets more love and more money than anybody.
But here's the thing.
But we do something, and we gotta be. We can't have our zipper unbuttoned, or
I
you
get
just
that.
lose all
I
of
get that.
It
But
is a double
double-edged sword, but it's all about distractions. Everybody focusing on this whole ass orange motherfucker when you got states right now with slavery on the ballot.
Yeah.
You
That's
got
bananas.
you got mayors of cities authorizing the police to be able to view your home security in real time. That's invasion of privacy like a motherfucker.
Evident.
But we focus on this orange motherfucker and his shit. We focusing on bullshit when there's real shit. That's all I'm saying. Stop falling for the banana and tailpipe. But if you like having cock in your mouth, nothing wrong with that. Just do that shit over there. All I'm saying is you gotta wake up before you fall asleep. Because if you don't,
Wake up, everybody.
we out.
So
Peace.
tap in, y'all.
It's been a good night, man. Now it's time to say goodbye
To
all my Negro friends. Hey, man, we catch y'all on the flip side, man. Y'all have a safe weekend.
Man, fucking started.
Yeah. Be safe out there, because there's a lot of shit going on in the world.
Give me some beef ribs tomorrow.
Man, it's already still going.
Y'all niggas tried to get deep on them one time.
I be trying.